What's up guys, we're gonna roll beats and today I'm gonna show you guys how to fix your guitar melody so that they sound a lot more believable. That being said, let's hop into the video. So to get started, first I want to talk about kind of separating your melodies, because what a lot of people do, and this is just normal amongst producers that like click in notes, right? You make everything in the same MIDI, right? Or like the same piano roll, right? You make your little melody like this and you put your bass notes, whatever else you have. Now this works, it's fine, but if you're going for something that's believable, this sometimes, depending on the VST that you are using, this sometimes does not work and it actually holds your melodies back. So I'm not going to go into detail on this because I think it's pretty simple to follow. So separating at the very least your main melody, so this will kind of be like your main like rhythm, and then your bass line, right? That like simple bass line. At least separating those will add to the believability, but that's all I want to talk about for this part. So next we're going to get into actually making the melody for each part. Now first I want to talk about the bass line. So this is the easiest thing that you'll ever do, but I like starting with this when making guitar melodies because it makes it easier to spark an idea rather than just starting in the void. So this is the bass plugin we're using, if it'll load up. All right, so don't pay attention to necessarily what plugin I'm using, because you can always download new plugins and sounds, but you cannot download skills, right? So this is just the little bass plugin I'm using here. So let's grab in a scale and I'm gonna do let's do a major, F sharp major. I'm gonna name it just so you know which one it is if you want to follow along. So for our bass pattern, let's make this real simple. I'm gonna give you one that's like typical, right? So what we can do is you would typically start on your root. Make sure it's low enough. We can start here and just go up like this, and then we'll make a chord upwards from here, and then you could stretch it out like so. All right, so if there's any beginners watching, the simplest way I can give you to figure out how to make a bass line, it's just a top melody lowered. It's no different than you making a top line melody, right? It's just lowered, right? So that's all it is. If we're gonna make it as simple as possible, I'll pull this down, and then if you want to give it like a rock rhythm, you can, something like this, right? Or if you want to, we could do something like this. I think this is a lot. I think that's a decent rhythm. So that is the bass, very simple. So now we're gonna move on to the main melody. All right, so now we're getting into the main melody. So it's the VST I'm using. So we're gonna go over the rhythms and kind of like how you can build it from scratch, because my goal is to get you to be able to do this without having to watch a video, where you could just go, you could just have an idea and you can make it, right? So I'm gonna give you how to build a like guitar like melody from scratch, right? So what do we could start here on our B. So all you need to do is go up a fifth twice. A fifth, you just go up 7 notes within this piano roll, right? And this is going to help you get a closer voicing to what a guitar would sound like. So you go up 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and one more time for like the top line or string. 1, 2, oops, copy it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and I'm gonna fatten this up a bit just so you can see the notes a lot clearer. And that's all you do. Now, does it need to look like this? Absolutely not. This is just a cheap way that you can do it. If you want to use other notes, you can, 100%. It doesn't need to be this. It's just, that is typically, let me just reverse that. Typically how you would do it. Make sure these aren't doubled. So now I want to talk about the rhythms that you would use. So with these notes here, what we would do is, since we already did with our bass, we could just copy our lowest note like this. You just do it literally like this. Right, so this is within 1 bar. We look, this is within 1 bar, and then for our middle one, this is the one we're gonna, this is the string or key that we're gonna keep coming back to, and this is what gives that guitar sound. We're gonna offset it like this and just copy it until it reaches the end, and that's it. And then for this one, we're going to offset it. So offset it like this. So we're gonna have this dynamic, and just do that, and it's as simple as that. Now, to make it one step more believable, you don't want these notes to overlap. So you don't want notes playing on top of each other like that. So we look for that. And if we look, these notes are playing at the same time. So we can delete one. And now we have a more believable guitar pattern. So now what we can do is make it our own. So all you have to do is just move these notes around. Okay, so I'm gonna pull this down here, and then let me see, maybe we could do something like this, and then I'm gonna make a chord downward because this is a chord, just to get some different notes to make it my own. Okay, and then we play that with our bass line. You can see it sounds a lot better now. And now we could just copy this over. I'm gonna just do it like this to make it save time. And then you could just choose some other notes. So for here, we could do something like this. And then I'm gonna make a chord up from here, just to go back to that note. And now we have a full melody. So I'm gonna just break this up into different colors real quick, just so you can kind of see what's different. And then we'll break this one up too. So this is under the hood of what this looks like. All right, so let's play it. Okay, and of course it sounds very dry, but the point of this video is not the sound selection and effects. We're talking about how to build this from scratch, right, with your own ideas. So now we're going to talk about the top melody. So let's go ahead and do that. Now lastly, we're gonna go over the top melody. So I'm gonna give you kind of a hack you can use to make a good one every time, but you don't need to follow it, because the top melody is pretty much a bass line. It's just a freer bass line. It's not necessarily this robotic in its rhythm. So the rhythm is what separates this. So let's go in here, and I want to probably go like right here, make this a little bit larger since we're working with like a lot less notes. So I'm gonna give you the hack rhythm. So this is the rhythm that you can use, especially if you want to make trap beats. This is the rhythm that is going to make it sound good and give you bounce when you add drums right here. So it's a 2-bar loop melody, and then you break it up like this. Now it doesn't need to be this exactly. Sometimes it looks like this, but typically when you have it right here, it'll give you a lot of bounce, just because of when you make a beat, the clap is right here. Right, the clap is right here when you make a beat, and when you offset a sound to the clap right before or after, it creates bounce. So that is why I put it here. So we're gonna mute these, and all you have to do is just use your ear. Trust yourself, use your ear, whatever you think sounds good. Okay, that's how you create your style, right? So let's pull this up. And you can create any rhythm. So here you have a rhythm, and here you have a different rhythm. So if you want this to be your rhythm, let's do something like that. And then let's change the rhythm up, right? This won't sound perfect, but you get the point. And that is how you utilize this simply. So I'm gonna make something that actually sounds good. Let's do something like, because I don't want this video to be too long. Make a chord up, and then we're just gonna have a rhythm like this, and I'm gonna cheat the system a bit and do this, right? And we can change the color so you know that it's different, and that's it. That's literally it. And you have all these combined, and keep in mind, we still can edit it and, you know, add effects and add key switches and stuff, but I think this is good enough. I want this to end here, and the reason I'm putting it here is so it resolves back into this, so it's a perfect loop. Okay, I'll play it one more time, and that's pretty much it. So I'll just go through, I'll see if I can loop this right. And in the next video, we're gonna focus on adding effects and making it sound good, and we're gonna make a beat out of it, so stay tuned for that. I'll just let it loop once or twice and go through everything. All right, and that's gonna be it for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.